What's going on today, guys? Shot some video last week doing some things to Bermuda grass. Just show you kind of typically what we do. A lot of what we do, or what I do, I say we all the time, I don't know why, it's just me. But a lot of what I do is somebody calls, says, hey, I got a crappy yard, and generally there's some common Bermuda in it. We'll come in and spray out all the garbage and fertilize the crap out of it to push the Bermuda to cover the lawn. Well, here's some of those in action. My yard here was one of those, and I think I chronicled that in some video. But anyway, well, here's some footage. Show you in the video is a few different ways to do things, and there's always different ways to do things. There's different ways than what I'm showing you too, but primarily what I'm going to do to them is the type of weeds I generally see in these Bermuda lawns. I'm going to be able to come in and take them out with something like methylfuron or Celsius and Revolver, or some combination of any of those, and just clean them up and start growing them out. And we'll show you some different fertilizer options to grow them out. 4600 is pretty much the standard. Look at these guys, camera hams. This selfie stick sucks, by the way. 4600 is pretty much the standard, but the problem with just straight urea is it's a little inefficient. I'll explain a little bit later in the video, I think. Just straight 4600 is a little inefficient, but it works great. But you can get a little more bang out of something like U-Flex. U-Flex is a stabilized urea, meaning that you're not going to lose a lot of that degassing off. You're gonna get most of that nitrogen out of something like U-Flex, and U-Flex is a 4600 that is nitrogen stabilized. Or I got another option that I'll show you on some of them. Actually, that's what I put on that one. It's a half ammonium sulfate, half urea. The ammonium sulfate is more plant available, and you'll get that in quicker. A little lower analysis, but you're getting it in a plant, and plus you're getting that sulfate in there, make it a little greener. All right, well, here we go. This one is a Bermuda grow-in that we started on in the late winter here, and what I did then was I hit it with SureGuard and glyphosate, I believe, and just knocked everything down. And I could tell there was a little dormant Bermuda in it at the time. We fertilized it pretty good a couple times, but he's got some typical summer stuff coming back in it. Some hard to control things, some Bahia grass, it looks like, all kinds of goods. So, and sedges. We're gonna hit this thing with Tribute Total and my patented grow-in fertilizer here. This is my Bermuda Grow-In Blast special. When they mix this for me by the ton, this is 1,000 pounds of ammonium sulfate and 1,000 pounds of urea. So 50-50 ammonium sulfate urea shakes out to like a 3400. This is another one, kind of same principle that we just saw in the last lawn, but I haven't treated this one at all yet. He's got a fair amount of Bermuda grass in it, along with every other weed imaginable in the book. Got Lesbodeza and spurge and crabgrass, sedges, clovers. So we're gonna spray the Tribute Total on this. There's a little centipede in it too. We're gonna knock the centipede out of it. I'm gonna spray the crabgrass out of it and everything else with some Tribute, and put the 3400 on it to push that Bermuda grass growth. But this is a good portion of what we do in the business. Not as exciting to see as grow in the beautiful fescues and stuff, but just try to wipe all this crap out and grow in the Bermuda grass. All right, there's after 1 week, so now we know where the Bermuda grass is in it. Touch that up again. All right, last year I did pretty much the same thing to this one that we did to the other ones. Wiped out all the unfavorable stuff, grew it in, but they hadn't called back this year, and they've got, till now, they got mega crabgrass. So I think I'm just gonna do Celsius and Revolver on this, and her neighbor has called me too, complaining about tall seed heads. I've never been over here either, but complaining about tall seed heads sticking up like a couple days after mowing. So I assume Bahia grass, and you know, there's a pretty good indicator right there. But unfortunately this one is primarily centipede, so I can't spray it what I want to today because of what I've had in the tank. But I'm gonna come back and get it. I'm not sure how successful I'm going to be on Bahia grass and the centipede. Let me see if I can find some. There's a Bahia grass, and the lawn is full of them. But out in these areas, I don't see much of any kind of good turf, and over in here is a lot of centipede. So we'll have to come up with a game plan for him. All right, so the new call-in guy with the Bahia grass and the centipede, he doesn't have very much of a centipede lawn. There's more on this hill, and I can't find much of any out in the main lawn. So I guess my strategy on that one is I can't spray it today because I've been spraying Tribute, and the Revolver in that will kill that centipede dead as hell. I'm scared to even get in with any residual like in an empty tank or anything, so we're going to have to clean the permagreen out or get another permagreen and come out here and spray that. So we'll get that one later, but probably try it at a ½ ounce of methylfuron and some Celsius, and I'll probably have to do that 2 or 3 times to get that Bahia grass down. The one that we grew in a couple years ago though, this is Bermuda, but he has a lot of crabgrass in it. They opted out of a pre-emergent this year, so we're gonna spray this crabgrass here out with Celsius and Revolver. Okay, got this thing knocked out, the Celsius and Revolver, and put a balanced fertilizer on this one because he's got plenty of grass. We just want it to look a little bit. All right, this is the one that I came by and checked on last week. I just sprayed it today. I went with 4 ounces of Celsius, ½ ounce of methylfuron. Should knock out a lot of the broadleaf stuff he's got going on, and hopefully it'll burn out the Bahia grass. And the one across the street, I sprayed with Celsius and Revolver a week ago today. Lots of carnage on the crabgrass and lots of what we call the burn and return. Browned out the grass, but look where it wiped out these massive patches of crabgrass. But I missed a streak right there, a nice streak. Customer sent me some pictures of how bad it was burnt a couple days after I sprayed it, and it's already bouncing back, but I went ahead and touched up that streak too. It's really typical and expected actually to see that what we call the burn and return from when you spray something high powered like the Celsius and Revolver combo, or Tribute. There's lots of in Bermuda. I mean, you can expect to see that, and the Bermuda's real resilient and it bounces back, but you can really wipe out those high-powered weeds with that high-powered herbicide. This one's a hybrid. It's tough. I actually mow this one too. I'm mowing it way too high, but I can't come but once a week, so it's the best I can do to keep it from looking like crap, is just mow it a little higher. Then this one here next door is one I seeded last year. It came up really well, and I jacked up and overseeded it with some ryegrass, and it tore it all to pieces. Plus the weird spring. It's just been a rough year for Bermuda, period, but I sprigged some in there, but we're growing it back in pretty well. I just scalped some of it off mowing. Got a little bit of crabgrass in it. I went ahead and fertilized it again, and I'm gonna hit this crabgrass real quick. All right, I'm getting invaded by gnats here, but I went ahead and fertilized the yard, trying to push it out a little more. Spot sprayed some of the crabgrass with quinclorac and methylated seed oil. Hopefully we'll get it grown in by the end of the summer. There's a nice, exciting crabgrass plot. Anyway, the rest of it's trying. Put up a before of this if I kept the pictures. Alright, this is primarily what we're going to be going after in this. There's a few broadleaf things here and there, some buttonweed. Pretty clean yard otherwise. This got the big glyphosate Sure Guard hit, and I work on this one all the time, but got some sedges, so we're going to do a Celsius and Dismiss application on it. The grass is trucking along pretty good. They're going to have an event here in September, the 1st of September, I think. So we're going to get it really strong and clean, but we're going to roll out with this 50/50 ammonium sulfate urea fertilizer on this. This gets some kind of fertilizer about every 40 days or so, so it usually gets something that's got a little NPK in it, but we're going with the urea blast today, well, the nitrogen blast. Been going by hitting most of this Bermuda today. I've been using the 3400, the mix of half ammonium sulfate, half urea, and I mean that's not the nitrogen's coming from half and half, it's just actual. Half of the bag is 2100, half of the bag is 4600. A lot of times I'll just use the 4600 to push these Bermuda lawns out, but in actuality, with this 3400, you're probably a little more efficient nitrogen in there. Well, there's definitely a little more efficient nitrogen in there. The 4600 has to go, the urea, straight urea, has to go in the ground, make a reaction with urease in the soil, turn into a gas, become available for the plant. You lose a lot of urea in that, or a lot of nitrogen in that process. So urea is not the most efficient nitrogen, but I promise you that 4600 will push a Bermuda lawn out along with some water. But the 3400, the 50/50 blend with the ammonium sulfate, that is a little more efficient nitrogen. It's readily available, so you're probably actually getting more nitrogen on the plant in actuality with that product. And with the price of urea now, the blend is cheaper than just buying straight urea. This is one I sprayed last week. This is my neighbor's yard. I live right there. It's my neighbor's yard, and he had some nut sedge, so I sprayed it with Celsius and Dismiss. Nut sedge no more, but it knocked the color out of his yard pretty bad if you can compare it to that. Of course, he won't hang in with PPC Total Turf Labs anyway. Not really. Anyway, so it knocked the color out of it. I'm gonna mow it, and we'll see if that brings any color back to it. And I also put I'll put the before and after and all that stuff. The color's already back in a lot more than it was. It was really knocked out earlier in the week. This application went down about a week ago today, actually. So there we go. Okay, here's the front at the neighbors after I got this blower. After I got a mow on it, it cut most of that discoloration out. Looks pretty good. I'll show you the back. We did a big grow in the back too. This yard here last year, well, maybe it was year before last, this is right in line with all the other stuff. It's full of Bahia grass, killed it off, pushed it and grew in the Bermuda. Show you the back. My ducks have adventured over here. But this is the back. Filled in a lot of holes with sand back here, so I had sand on a good portion of this backyard. I got some before picture somewhere. Still filling it in a little bit, but we've come a long way. I'll show you the before. It's U-Flex right there, 4600 stabilized urea. But this one's a little further along. I'd spray this one out the same kind of process you saw on the other ones. The Celsius Revolver knocked out a bunch of Bahia grass, crabgrass, that kind of thing, and now we're really focusing on filling it in. I'm gonna hit it with this. That'll do. That should do it. All right, now here's the back. All these bare blown up spots, that was Bahia grass. But it's done a pretty dandy job of taking it out. Now we're just gonna try to grow it in. Blue power here, put the blue heat on it. That's gonna be a pretty tall order to grow in that backyard there. With all those big bare spots that Bahia grass left, being that it's like today's 1st of August, so I don't know if we'll get all that grown in, but the patches in the front of that one I definitely think will grow in by the end of the season. We still got plenty of hot weather, but the days are going to start getting shorter and shorter, and we run out of that sunlight. That Bermuda just puts the brakes on, man. It slows down. But I'm going to show you another one right here that I treated. Had a little fungus in it. I treated it last week. It's a Bermuda with I think I put thanatite, methyl, and propiconazole on it, maybe, and 4600, and went back yesterday. The thing looks pretty dang good right now, so I'll show you the before and after. All right, that's what I'm talking about, with some recovery right there. That thing was great. This is a week later, by the way. Damn right. My yard here, it struggled pretty bad in the spring. The ryegrass beat it up in the weird weather, beat it up. I mean, it's just coming on pretty decent now. I've got mostly Monaco Bermuda in this yard, and I'm telling you that Monaco will run blow for blow with hybrids. And it's a seeded Bermuda, and I put up a video how I seeded it. But I'll show you a close-up on this Monaco. It's good looking stuff. And this is our Monaco. It's nice and tight turf, small bladed, pretty turf. Need something for scale. What I got? Just had a coin or something. Here's a can of dip for scale. See how small his blades are. Well, there's a few options on Bermuda grow-ins. You can put all that boutique stuff on them you want to later. The first thing you need to do is get them pushed out with that nitrogen. And I'm not saying that you can just go and fertilize your yard all the time with nitrogen and get by with it. You need to balance fertilizers all along the way, but to get that initial blast off when you're just trying to grow them out, you need a whole lot of nitrogen, and hopefully you'll get some water too. So that combination is hard to beat on a grow in. Anyway, I appreciate you guys watching. We'll check you out next time. Thanks.